Lasso the Moon, written by Amanda Morellis, illustrated by Sasha Masharova. Max was dressed in her favorite pajamas, ready to read her bedtime stories and be tucked in for the night. Her mother always left Max's curtains open so the soft glow of the moon would soothe her to sleep. Max was afraid of the dark, no matter how many nightlights there were in her room. She loved having the moon as her special nightlight. Nothing else made her feel quite as safe. One evening, Max could not fall asleep. She tried everything. She counted 100 sheep and read every bedtime story. She gazed out her window. Maybe if she could keep the moon in her room, its beautiful light would help her sleep. Max started planning. Should she build a rocket ship? No, a rocket ship would be too slow to carry the moon. Should she climb a towering staircase? No, it would take ages to walk that far. What if she had a magic rope that she could tie around the moon and lasso it back down to Earth? Yes, that's it. Max would lasso the moon. Then she could have it as her nightlight forever. She would have the best dreams, and the moon would chase the shadows and monsters away for good. She tied together every bedsheet, rope, and blanket she could find until she was sure it would reach. She sneaked out of her room and onto the roof, gave the rope a big swing around her head, and flung the mighty lasso towards the moon. But she missed. She tried again and again until her arms grew tired and she nearly gave up. Then, finally, the loop wrapped around the moon. She dug her feet into the roof and pulled as hard as she could. Slowly, the moon came closer and closer until it was close enough to touch. Max could not believe her eyes. She pulled the moon from the sky. She held it gently in her hands and stared in wonder. Her smile turned to a frown. The moon had lost its glow. Now it was just a dull gray rock with craters all over it. Where did the light go? How would she ever fall asleep? She held the moon closer to investigate. Maybe the moon was shy. Maybe she just had to shake it a little bit to make the light come out. She shook the moon back and forth, but nothing happened. She flipped it in every direction. Maybe it was out of batteries. Nope, she could not find any place to put in batteries. Max was so disappointed. She carried the moon back to her bedroom in disbelief. She thought to herself, what good is the moon now? It won't even glow like I wanted. Just then, the tree branches scratched the windows and Max heard a loud whoosh. The winds blew so strongly the house seemed like it would fly away. Between the bursts of lightning, she noticed the sky was darker than ever. She whispered to the moon, I've made a terrible mistake. We have to get you back home. She leaped onto her trampoline from her window, jumped, and tried to toss the moon back into the sky. She hoped it would float like a balloon back to its place among the stars. Instead, each time she threw it, the moon fell back to her arms like a heavy ball. Maybe if she could send the moon away on the ocean waves, it would float to the horizon and back up to the sky. Max ran towards the ocean. She climbed the sand dunes and was shocked to find barely any waves. A tiny wave came to greet them, but disappeared as quickly as it formed. Max could not give up hope yet. Max tiptoed into the water. She knelt down, pushing the moon on the waves. She closed her eyes and made a wish that the moon would find its way back home. When she opened her eyes, her heart sank. The waves weren't strong enough to carry the moon. She picked up the moon and trudged back to the shore. Max sat with her toes in the water, wondering how to save the beautiful moon she loved so much. Then the water began glowing at her feet in tiny blue wisps. It was plankton. She jumped up in excitement. "Wisps, surely you know the answer. How do I take the moon home?" She heard tiny whispers.
First, you must understand the power the moon holds. It is more than the beauty of its glow.
She laid her ears to the sand. "Please, tell me everything."
Long ago, before there were people, there was just space. The planets spun in circles around the sun, dancing around the bonfire of light. The sun and the moon were best friends. They made a deal for their friend, the earth. The sun would shine its light on the earth to feed the plants and give life, and the moon would hold the earth steady, carry the tides back and forth, and protect the earth from meteors.
Max was amazed. The moon was so much more than a beautiful mirror for the sun. She felt so bad for wanting to keep it all to herself. She pleaded for the wisps to help her take the moon back to its home. There was only one way. They needed the sun. If she held the moon up to the horizon when the sun was rising over the water, the sun could carry his friend home. She waited all night, and when she spotted the first pinks and yellows of dawn, she stood up and raised the moon high. Max closed her eyes and let the moon go. It disappeared. The sun rose and the sky lit up a beautiful bright blue. She wandered back home and fell asleep. By the time she woke again, the sun was setting. She smiled and wished that the moon would light up her bedroom again. Just as she finished the last fairy tale, her mother kissed her forehead and tucked Max in. She clicked off the lamp beside her bed, and that's when Max saw it. A beautiful white orb was glowing in the night sky, right where it belonged.
Thank you for coming to the Story Nook. If you like this story, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe.